So,
Tom Mazzella here again for Small Business Digest. We have with us today someone I've been looking forward to, David. Do you pronounce it Wachs or
Wax.
Wachs?
Yeah.
I'm so my audience is so used to me mispronouncing names. But anyway, David's here to talk about what I consider a very interesting topic, and we'll get into it. But first, we always, as we ask all our guests, tell us a little bit about yourself personally, how you got to where you are now, what you're doing now, and finally, a website where people can learn more.
Sure. My name is David Wax. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Handwritten, and it's spelled HANDWRYTTEN. And you can find us at HANDWRYTTN.com. We are the largest provider of automated handwritten notes in the world. Prior to starting this company, I started Handwritten in 2014, but prior to that, I ran a text messaging company for 10 years where we sent millions of text messages a day on behalf of some of the largest brands in the world, including Abercrombie and Fitch and Toys R Us, Sam's Club, Office Max, Cirque du Soleil, and others. And yeah, so now we use robots to write out handwritten notes at scale for our clients. Basically, we believe that electronic communication has gotten so crowded and overused that it's really lost its value. And if you're trying to gain the hearts and mind share of the consumer, you have to reach out in a different way, and handwritten notes are a great way to do that.
Hmm, okay. Uh, I tend to agree with you. There was uh, someone that worked for FDR, President FDR, that wrote everything out in green ink and getting one of his notes. And I'm trying to remember his name. I used to be able to know. But anyway, um, first question, how did you get into this industry?
Yeah, so I sold the text messaging company um, about in 2012 and had to work for the new owners for 2 years. And during that time, I realized everybody was getting too many texts and too many emails. Twitter was coming out and people were getting too many tweets. But when I received a handwritten note from, I just got a text message myself, I apologize. When I got a handwritten note, not only would I read it, but I'd keep it and put it on display. And when it came time to leave the company, I wanted to do something like that for my employees and my customers. I wanted to give them something that they'd actually read and hopefully keep on display. So I wrote handwritten notes to all my major clients as well as my employees, thanking them for being with me through this journey. And quickly my hand got tired. I ran out of stamps. I ran out of stationery. My handwriting sucked, all the typical things. And I thought there had to be a better way. And why couldn't we use some sort of automation to do this? So that's where handwritten came from. And I really started it the day after leaving the last company. So for better or worse, it started the day after. And since then, we've built a fleet of 200 robots. These are built by ourselves, completely software designed, hardware designed, built in our facility in Tempe, Arizona. Each one holds a real pen. It's actually a Pilot G2 ballpoint pen. You can pick them up at any office supply store. And we write out the notes. We do about 40,000 pieces a day currently between cards and envelopes.
What types of people or companies use it, and what do they use it for? Use it for?
Yeah, so it really runs the gamut. We think any business can really benefit from handwritten outreach. And our customers run from individuals sending their notes to family and friends, although that's a very small part of our business, to realtors and mortgage brokers who use us for prospecting, as well as saying thank you to their clients. Realtors are probably the biggest users of our prospecting system, which is reaching out to people they've never communicated with. And then everybody else pretty much uses us for thank you notes. So nonprofits are a very big vertical for us, sending thank you after a donation. Car dealerships sending thank you and follow-ups after purchasing a car. E-tail and retailers. So we work with major department store chains, um, eyeglass companies that sell eyeglasses. It really does run the gamut. But our big verticals are nonprofits, automotive, and retail.
Hmm. Surprising about nonprofits, but it makes sense if
Yeah,
they really, really do. But our audience is primarily small business owners. Um, let's talk about pricing. Small business. Where do you start? Is it a minimum of 1,000? A minimum? What's how did how does your pricing work?
yeah. So if you go to our website, you can buy as little as one card without a plan. So that would be $3.75. And that would be the most you'd ever pay per card. There's options on the website to prepay for cards where you buy, 1,000 and you can send them over a course of a year, and that'll get your price down in the high $2 range. And then, or if you buy more than 1,000, it'll obviously go down much more. And then we also do have business plans that start at $249 a month, and they provide you a much lower price per card. So on our highest business plans, you're paying a little over $1 per card.
Hmm.
Um, so it really just depends on the level of investment and usage you plan on doing. Each of those plans has different features, such as integrating with your CRM system, providing free delivery confirmations, which we can actually do with no more than a regular stamp. But we can provide that data to you. We have, different levels of account management where we can do all your sends for you. So you don't really have to do your own bulk uploads and deal with all that on the website. But all plans include unlimited free custom cards. So you can log on to the website, upload your imagery and create a beautiful full bleed custom card on thick stationery. And then we write out the card, we write out the envelope, we put a real first class stamp on it. So everything looks fully, no different than if you were to send it, and then we send it on its way.
Well, the holiday season is approaching. It would seem to me that if you had a lot of customers, you would be a great one for Christmas cards and
Absolutely. Yeah, we're entering our busiest time of year. Small businesses all the way to large corporations use us to send outreach. And what we allow small businesses to do is really scale their holiday cards, because typically a small business has limited time and can only sit down and write, I don't know, a couple hundred maybe. But
Hmm.
when they work with a company like us, you can upload your entire address book and send out thousands in less time and probably less money than if you were to do it on your own. So it's really cool that we can help these clients, you know, really get their message across and well wishes for the new year at a scale that they just simply weren't able to do before. And if they're really into it, they can upload their signature, so they can have their notes signed with their signature. They would have to have that, do that with us to get that created, but they can do that. Everything is fully custom, and unless you're really scrutinizing the note, thinking it might be fake, you'll never guess that it's a fake handwritten note.
Hmm. Well, I have one question for you. Uh, do you provide Christmas cards?
We do. Yeah, we've got, if you visit handwritten.com,
May I
you
help
can,
you?
browse our whole selection of holiday cards, Christmas cards, Hanukkah cards, New Year's cards,
One
Thanksgiving.
second.
So yes, we
Yeah.
we we have a whole selection of Christmas cards, and all holiday cards, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, everything's available on the website, and then you can always design your own card if you don't like what you see up there.
Mm. Yeah, let's talk a moment. There's been a controversy about the presidential pardons, and the duplication of President Biden's signature.
Mhm.
You don't do just the signature; you do the entire card. Am I correct?
That's correct. And regarding that matter, I don't want to get political on the duplication of signatures, but signature duplication, the very first auto pen, which was an early, that was the first way they duplicated signatures. This was crafted. The first person to design one was Thomas Jefferson. So this is technology that goes back a long time and has been used by a lot of presidents, not just Biden. So but that said, what handwritten does is much more sophisticated than that. Not only do we replicate signatures, but we replicate typed words into the handwriting style you want, and we inject variation and nuance to it so that it doesn't look typed. So we vary the line spacing to make sure that two lines aren't exactly the same down the page, so it doesn't look like you used a ruler to write your note. We vary the left margin in and out so that it doesn't look like you wrote on a hard line, because people don't do that. We warp the text ever so slightly so it looked like you tried to write correctly, but you did your best, but it wasn't perfect. And then we randomize the characters throughout the note, so two O's look different throughout the note, or two O's together, how you connect those two O's with ligatures. We recreate that too. So when you write two T's, do you cross it with one crossbar or two? All those little nuances we take into account in creating our handwriting styles so that they really do pass the sniff test, and it's a best of class technology.
Hmm. Now that's really good because we get sometimes real you said real estate. We get it from real estate people. It looks like a real note, and then you realize it wasn't. It's just, and they've done it for the entire street. Do you want to sell your house? You
Mm-hmm.
know that type of thing.
And it was probably
Okay.
laser printed too.
Well, I'm gonna jump just 1 minute. What's the future? Where did it go from here?
Well, we're really working to optimize our process. The things we're adding to the platform, we've added some campaign management tools that allow us, you can schedule multiple handwritten notes in a row to kind of do drip campaigns with your clients. That's here today. In the future, we might have a little bit of a better card customizer. Um, what we recommend is if you're doing anything really robust right now, go to Canva or something like that and then import it into handwritten. But we'd like to move some of those features in. We do use AI in our platform for computer vision to QA the note and to warp the text, as well as allow you to craft your note using AI. So you could say, um, you know, write a note to Don thanking him for being on his show, and then it'll write the whole note for you if you don't want to write it yourself. We're probably going to integrate computer or AI image generation in the same way. So, make a happy holidays card incorporating this photo of my family, and then it'll, write the words happy holidays above the family and all that stuff. So those are things that are kind of coming, but that's probably a little down the road.
Well, it seems to me, at $1 something that you're really. If I go out and order a photo Christmas cards that have a photo, I'm getting pretty close to $1.80 each. Of,
Yeah.
so you're getting pretty competitive. And
Well, yeah, and look, we're never going to be the cheapest, nor do we want to. Our whole process is, we're not a card printing company. That's step one. And then we take those cards, we feed them into home-built robots that write out your note in an authentic handwriting. And then we feed those into home-built computer vision systems to ensure that they wrote correctly. We then feed them into blank envelopes that we have to keep track of through the process to write out your address on that afterwards to ensure there's no missteps there. So if you compare us to these laser printed card companies, they'll win every time, and I want them to, because they have a one-step process to print your card. That one step is step one of 5 or 6 for us. So, it's really, our value is turning that generic printed card into a meaningful, gee, I can't believe Don wrote me something type moment. And that's what we're about, is creating those special moments.
well, I don't know what a first class stamp is today, well, but that adds a lot of expense
Yeah.
to that. You
Yep.
know, I don't think the post office is going to reduce.
No.
If anything, they're going to increase.
Yeah.
Where do you think the future of postal is going to go?
You know, it first class stamp right now is 78 cents. It's not
Oh,
cheap. We are potentially going to offer marketing mail rate stamps down the road, which will be a sticker stamp on the product, but it'll take way longer for that product to get to you. And that kind of defeats the purpose. Right now, our mail delivery timelines are about 4 to 6 days, 4 to 7 days, based on the post office. And you're talking about doubling or tripling that with marketing mail. So I don't know. Yes, it'll be cheaper, but you get what you pay for. This is never going to be the cheapest form of communication. But the ROI justifies it. So, for instance, we had a client, a car dealership, small, relatively small business, sending letters to people using metered mail or marketing mail stamps saying, come into our facility. They were just laser printed letters. They weren't handwritten notes. Come into our facility to trade up or trade in your car. They then switched to handwritten and sent first class handwritten cards saying, come in to trade up or trade in your car. Yes, it's more expensive, very much so. But they saw a 17 times greater response rate, not 17%, 17 times. So 1,700% greater response rate with those handwritten notes versus the letters. So, it's very much a case of you get what you pay for. When you uh, adjust the ROI for the additional costs, they were still seeing between an 8 and 10 times greater ROI from the handwritten notes versus the laser print. So, you know, people still go to the mailbox. They still look for something special in the mail, and they get a lot of junk mail. And only 2 to 3 times a month do they get something that's actually handwritten. So the question for your listeners and readers is, do they want to be in that pile of 135 emails a day, or do they want to be in that pile of 2 to 3 handwritten notes a month? And then also, when you're in that pile of 135 emails a day, do people even look at it? Because do they assume everything is AI generated spam? So there's a lot of reasons to spend that extra, to make that investment, and not just have a race to the bottom, the cheapest thing. I mean, we all don't drive around in Pintos anymore. So there's a reason people choose for luxury or more quality items, because they think they're going to get a result out of it. So that's what I'd say. And yes, postal expense is expensive, but I can't think of anybody else that will, shuttle my note across the United States for 78 cents.
I agree. But before we go any further, your website again for people?
Yeah, it's handwritten, HANDWRYTTEN.com. And if you go there, please click business at the top and request a free sample kit so you can see for yourself how authentic these note these look.
Hmm. I'm gonna, when we finish, I it would seem like just a great idea, and I'm glad you came. Um, we have just a couple of minutes left. What would you like to leave our audience with?
I'm really here, Don, not to talk about my company, Handwritten, but to talk about the magic of a handwritten note, handwritten with an I, not a Y. So, what I would say is each of your listeners or readers should pick up a pen and write out 5 notes to their customers and see the response they get. And if they get a good response and they see the value in it, then talk to a company like ours to help you scale that and really maximize the benefits that come from genuine appreciation of your clients and prospects, because we live really in an age of abundance now where unfortunately the United States, I feel, has this entitlement mentality where, yeah, of course they came to me, of course they bought from me, when the fact is they have a million people they could have bought from, or they could have gone to China and had it made themselves, or they could have gone to Upwork and had somebody do the work for them, the service that they needed. So the fact that people come to you and use your wares or service really, really, I feel personally, requires your gratitude. And when you do that gratitude, you'll see outsized returns in the long run.
Hmm. Well, on that note, David Watts, we say thank you for a great time together.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate being on your show.